Hey everyone, I'm Pranav. I'm here with Zhou. We're Mooncake, and we're building the plus Postgres. Let's go through the data tooling rite of passage of every startup here, from founder mode all the way to IPO. You start off in founder mode, kind of where we are today. You have a single Postgres instance that powers your app. It's also what does your BI, your RevOps, your GTM. A single Postgres instance goes incredibly far. People overthink this. Until you kind of hit Series B stage. You find product market fit, your number of rows expand, and an engineer says, hey, I need user-facing dashboards. At this point, you need a real-time analytics system. You'll likely introduce something like ClickHouse, replicate data from Postgres into ClickHouse. At the app level, do some kind of magic to keep them consistent, and serve your applications. It's also the moment where you introduce data people. You have a warehouse, people that run GTM, RevOps. Just within this phase, we've introduced 2 new systems and a whole bunch of complexity. And then Series F comes along. You get your 101 billboard. And you realize, I just don't need the warehouse. I need to move to the lake. I need open tables. I don't want vendor lock-in. I want all OLAP and data processing to be stateless. So you rip out your warehouse, you get something called Iceberg, which you might have heard of, and that's kind of what happens. See, the reality is we know the end state for teams. App people just want to use Postgres, and they just want to keep their Postgres unchanged. They want to manage one client, and what they need is consistent data that they can serve applications for both analytic and operational workloads. And data people now have kind of come to the conclusion, hey, all I need is data to be an iceberg. And I want all of my OLAP and my processing to be stateless and serverless. And I just want up-to-date data. And if you look at agents, the word agents, it's likely at these 2 layers in which agents are learning to talk to data. At the DB layer, we're seeing actually stateful vibe-coded apps backed by a Postgres instance. And at the lake layer, you're seeing a bunch of innovation around AI BI, AI data engineering. You're seeing innovation at the catalog level. So it's likely these 2 systems that'll sort of be where data lives for both humans and agents. Postgres and Iceberg will be the stack. Postgres for all OLTP, Iceberg for all OLAP. That's the Mooncake bet. Joe will share how we get there.
Oh, hey, yeah. So let's actually look at what Mooncake is, starting from the minimum version. So at minimum, Mooncake is a PG Mooncake extension inside Postgres. We have data stored in object store in Parquet Iceberg format, and we use StackDB embedded to query them. Let's see what are the requirements here. We want super fast queries. We want all the snapshots in Iceberg, but also still have like PG semantics. More than that, we actually want fast ingest from any Postgres table. Where the Postgres table have point inserts, updates, and deletes, we want the column store table to be up to date. Well, there's actually no system that can support it right now. Even Iceberg or even ClickHouse cannot do it. Now let's actually look at the filling of Mooncake. We are building the first operational layer for Iceberg. We call it Moonlink. So what Moonlink does internally is we are building an in-memory arrow buffer and indexes on top of Iceberg. So when look at the write, we take any CDC stream from Postgres or any like message queue like Kafka. It will be streamed into this arrow buffer first, and then it will use the index to do like updates and deletes. Periodically, the snapshot will be flashed into an Iceberg table. So think about it as a next generation database where the snapshots will be written in Iceberg and the write-ahead log is just the write-ahead log of the OLTP systems. And look at the read path. In order to support like sub-second latency when you read the tables, we actually implemented union reads between this buffer and also the Iceberg table. So we'll actually get a consistent view with up-to-date data. Again, the caching indexes will also be used to make queries really fast. So what does that mean? So Moonlink is going to enable a real-time ingest from any sources into Iceberg. And it will have caching and indexes to support fast queries, fast enough to power actual applications. And this will be open sourced. Cool. To the Postgres story. Mooncake is designed to meet you at wherever your Postgres is. So it can be as an extension or as a readable replica that will always up to date with any primary Postgres table. This is the journey we see, and this is what the journey we want for the new teams, starting with pure Postgres. And then whenever they hit their first dashboard, whenever they hit their first slow queries, they will start adding a piece of Mooncake, and that's it. So for app people, it means like you get OLTP and OLAP on the always consistent data, and all the apps will be powered by this. And as teams grow even more, when they start to have data teams, they will find out all the data are actually in nice, up-to-date Iceberg, which is great to be worked with. This is actually our second attempt to simplify the data stack. All of our co-founders, me, Chen, and Pranav, was met at a single store. For the last decade, I've been spending time building this all-in-one magic system to power both transaction and analytics. And this time, we're doing something different. We want to bet on the openness. We want to bet on the Postgres without changing the OLTP system. And we want to bet on Iceberg being the only one OLAP system. And Mooncake want to be the connection between them. Now, Pranav will give you a demo in action.
Right. Cool. So this demo example is, if it loads, it's based off one of our early design partners. They were building an AI GTM tool, one that looks something like this. I vibe coded this on Replit last night. And it has opportunities, it has a bunch of people, for each person, bunch of events. And there were two parts of the application that gave way. One was filters. They actually had really wide tables, and they wanted to run fast filters on arbitrary columns. This ended up becoming really slow. And the second thing that gave way was their dashboards. They had user-facing dashboards, which looked a bunch like this. Each dashboard would take 40 seconds to load. And at this point, they were evaluating a competitor tool, and they had decided, okay, I need a real-time analytics database. And I'm going to show the experience of speeding up these dashboards and these filters with Mooncake. So I start off with an events table. There's 31 million rows. This is an example query. I'm finding product stickiness. And you can see it's an analytic query, takes 30 seconds to run. Not designed for a system like Postgres. The one thing I wanted you to take away from the demo is how easy it is to get started. I add the extension, create extension PG Mooncake, and I write one SQL command, create Mooncake table, point it to my existing Postgres table, and it creates a column store table. These two tables are always synced and up to date. That's it. No ETL tool, no separate analytic database. The same query now runs in sub-seconds, and it's up to date with your existing tables. The other thing that Zhou has talked about a lot is Iceberg. We're betting a lot on Iceberg. Here's what that means. We create we write column store tables as Iceberg tables, and you can find the REST catalog where your data is stored from within the extension, and use it with other tools like PyIceberg. So that's it. That's how you have an Iceberg table that's always up to date with your Postgres tables. Wait, sorry. There are three things I want you to take away from that demo. One is zero lift OLAP, no data modeling, no code change, keep your write path the same. It's just Postgres, and you have an always consistent Iceberg version of it. And yeah, we'd love to share our slice. The extension is open source under an MIT license. Moonlink, which is the core innovation, Iceberg DB, or the operational layer to Iceberg, is coming soon in open source. And yeah, we're at mooncake.dev. Thank you all for listening.